أهلا بيكم طالبات وطلبة الترم الثاني ببرنامج الترجمة قسم اللغة الإنجليزية بالتعليم المدمج بجامعة القاهرة. إحنا هنبتدي النهاردة أول محاضرة في Grammar 2 which is a sequel يعني الحاجة اللي بتيجي بعد كده to Grammar 1 which we studied in term 1. Let me tell you a bit about the exam. انتوا دايما بتسألوا على الامتحان هيكون في ايه؟ This is grammar. يعني something which you build up as you learn English. So the exam will cover what you have known in grammar 1 and what you shall have known in grammar 2 as well. ده بالظبط زي مثلا ما بنتعلم الجمع. احنا بنجمع مثلا عدد وعدد، وبعدين نجمع عددين وعددين، وبعدين أعداد كتيرة مع أعداد كتيرة. grammar is the same. اللغة عموما هي حاجة بتتكون عندي وبتكبر كل شوية. هو مش مادة grammar 2 ما هوش مادة وgrammar 1 ما هوش مادة. لا، مفروض إن at the end of the term you will have an exam which shows your level of English where grammar is concerned. Alright؟ طيب تعالوا مع بعض نشوف ايه اللي هنعمله في أول محاضرة. طيب I have divided this lecture into two parts. أول جزء اللي هو الجزء ده يعني is more related to the form of the verb شكل الأفعال, and the other part is related to the tenses in English, to the problems we have when we are using tenses in English. طيب these are the objectives of lecture 1. By the end of this lecture, the students should be able to recognize the basic forms of the verb. يعني ايه the basic forms of the verb؟ انتوا عارفين ان من زمان يعني when we start learning English, we know that English has three forms. The present وبنقول عليهم the present, the past, and the past participle. لا, English has five basic forms, and we're going to know about them in this lecture. طيب تاني حاجة, use the past participle with have. Once I have the past participle, then that means I must use have. Use the past participle or the present participle with be. لو أنا عندي verb to be يبقى لازم هيجي وراه يا إما ال past participle يا إما ال present participle. وإحنا عرفنا في term 1 إن ال present participle is the ing form of the verb. that use the base form after modals. ايه هي المودلز؟ المودلز انتوا عارفين you know auxiliary verbs او الافعال المساعده. الافعال المساعده دي انتوا عارفين ان بنستعمل معاها الفعل في الانفينيتيف، والافعال المساعده ملهاش معنى قوي but they have to be there because every sentence should have a verb. يعني ما اقول مثلا verb to be does not have a meaning. It doesn't have a meaning. لكن models are very much like auxiliary verbs but they have meanings. يعني مثلا can, should, may, might, will, would, and so on. طيب these models do the work of an auxiliary verb. هي بتعمل عمل الأفعال المساعدة. يعني I use them in the negatives, بستعملهم في النفي, and I use them to make questions. لكن at the same time they do have a meaning. يعني ما أقول مثلا do you speak English غير ما أقول do هنا does not have a meaning. It doesn't have a meaning. لكن لما أقول can you speak English, طيب أنا بستعمل can برضو to make a question, but at the same time can has a meaning that do does not have. Alright? طيب دول برضو بنستعمل معاهم ال base form of the verb. هنعرف دلوقتي ايه هو base form of the verb. طيب, the form of the verb. English verbs have 5 forms, not 3 forms. You should be aware what forms to use after have, after be, and after modals like will, would, shall, should, can, may, might, etc. Type the following are examples of the 5 verb forms of English verbs. طيب, احنا عندنا زي ما قلت لكم 5 forms. I have the base form اللي بنقول عليه الانفينيتيف ساعات. Let's call it the base form. We have the present. ما نقولش زي ما كنا بنقول زمان ان عندنا 3 اشكال للفعل اللي هو البريزنت والباست والباست participle. لان البريزنت زي ما انتم شايفين معاه اس اهو بيتصرف. ما اقدرش اقول ان I use the present form with can ولا with do. ليه؟ لان the present form means that with certain pronouns you add s. لكن the base form means that you do not add anything to it. طيب, عندي ال present participle اللي هي that's the ing form of the verb, and you have the past and you have the past participle. تعالوا نبص عليهم. You know that we have regular verbs which have ed for the past and the past participle, and you have irregular verbs where the form of the verb is different. يعني هنا لما أقول walk, that's the base form. Present is walk or walks according to the pronoun you are using. Walking, present participle. The past is walked and the past participle is walked. This is a regular verb. Type. Here, hear or hears, hearing, heard, heard. Cook, cook or cooks, cooking, cooked, cooked. نيجي الفعل تاني أو الثلاث أفعال اللي جايين are irregular verbs. يعني بقول sing, sang, sung. It's not singed. It's sing, sang, sung. Come, came, come. And begin, began, begun. All right? Time. You remember that for grammar 1, we finished 29 skills. Type. We start now with skill number 30. After have, use the past participle. After have, that means any form of have. يعني have, has, having, had, any form of have. After have, use the past participle. أنا مش عايزاكم تفكروا إن أنا بقول have ولا أنا بعمل التنس اللي هو perfect tense, present perfect tense يبقى have plus the past participle of the verb. No, I want you to get used to saying that very naturally. Once you have or any form of it, لازم يجي وراها past participle. طيب, let us correct these mistakes. They had finished work. يعني أنا عندي they had يبقى لازم تبقى finished. They had finished. لازم يجي بعد had, which is a form of have, لازم يجي بعدها past participle. We have seen they, لا, مفروض إنها تبقى them play. We have seen them play. شفناهم وهما بيلعبوا. That's a misprint, I'm sorry. طيب, he has took, لا, ده أنا بقول has يبقى إزاي أقول past؟ لازم أقول taken. He has taken the book. Having eaten, no. Having, not eat. Having eaten. Having eaten, we had tea. طبعا had اللي we had tea, had اللي قبل tea is not a helping verb. It's not the have we are talking about to make tenses. لا, had هنا معناها we drank tea. he could have did لا he could have past participle done the job. You should also be careful that the past participle form also has to come with have. برضو زي ما have لازم يجي وراها ال past participle برضو the past participle لازم يجي قبليه have. have يعني أي form of have. ليه بقى؟ The verb is either past or past participle with have or a form of have. يعني بقول he begun a new job. ما اقدرش اقول he begun a new job. انا ممكن اقول he began a new job، لكن ما دام عندي begun يبقى لازم اقول he has begun a new job. طيب he done برضو عندي done لازم تبقى he has done a lot of he has done a lot to help او اقول he did a lot to help. alright. طيب تعالوا نعمل exercise 30 مع بعض. The little boy drank a whole bottle of medicine. Drunk. Drunk is a past participle. ما ينفعش تيجي لوحدها كده، يبقى لازم اقول the little boy has drunk، ولازم تيجي انا بقول لكم من غير ما نكون بنفكر في tenses. The little boy has يبقى اقول drunk، مش هقول drink ولا هقول drank. عندي drunk يبقى لازم برضو يجي قبلها a form of have. The little boy has drunk a whole bottle of medicine. وممكن أقول the little boy drank. Past simple. Like, before I slept, I had locked the door. This sentence is correct. I had locked the door. Like, having run out of bread, انتوا عارفين run is an irregular verb. Run, ran, run. Having, that's a form of have، يبقى لازم يجي ورا past participle. Having run out of bread خلصنا الخبز. I called the supermarket. The mechanic has broken the mirror. He should have completes. لا the completes دي is present tense. He should have completed the exam earlier. طيب تعالوا بقى نشوف skill number 31. After be use present participle or past participle. زي ما قلنا إن بعد any form of have we use the past participle. After be we have to have either of two things. يا إما present participle يعني ing form of the verb or the past participle. تعالوا نقرأ الشرح ده. Any form of the verb be يعني am, is, are, was, were, be, been, being can be followed by another verb. This verb should be in the present participle يعني ing or the past participle. You will study the tenses later. احنا بعد كده يعني في الجزء الثاني من المحاضرة دي we are going to study the tenses. But we may say now that the verb be is followed by the present participle اللي هو ing form when we have a verb in a continuous sense. يعني ما أقول مثلا I am studying. And it is followed by a past participle when we have a sentence in the passive voice المبني للمجهول. يعني بقول I am reading the book، لكن أقول the book is read. I am reading دي بقت فعل. The book is ده برضه verb to be لكن جه وراه past participle لأنه passive voice مبني للمجهول. يعني سواء أنا بستعمل ال present participle أو عندي ال present participle or the past participle be بتيجي قبلهم. In other words, when the sentence starts with the object, that's the passive voice. ايه الباسيف voice؟ ان الجملة بتبتدي بالمفعول مش بالفعل. طيب, let's read these sentences. We are paint our house. لا, that's the subject and that's the verb. We are painting our house. لكن لما ابتدي بالobject, the house was painted last year. Nadia is arranging the furniture. She is the subject, Nadia. The furniture, that's the object, was arranged by Nadia. طيب, يبقى be, ايه الverb forms after be? Be plus the present participle to make a continuous form of the verb, or be plus the past participle when we have a passive voice sentence. طيب, let's look at exercise 31. We are start the lecture at 12. أنا ممكن أقول we start the lecture at 12 لو هو ده الجدول اللي بيتكرر مثلا كل يوم. لكن once I have are, that means I have a continuous form of the verb. يبقى بعد are اللي هي verb to be لازم يبقى عندي present participle which is the ing form of the verb. يبقى we are starting the lecture at 12. I am leaving later today. This one is correct. وخدوا بالكم, I am leaving. This is present continuous tense, but it is used to refer to the future. Tense does not have to mean time. I am leaving. This is present continuous tense, but the time I am referring to is the future. The parcel was delivered by the mailman. عندي a form of be, and I start with something which is an object, not a subject. هتبقى the parcel was delivered by the mailman. To be working was extremely important to her. To be working was extremely important to her. This is correct. They are build their house on a farm they own. لا. They are building their house on a farm they own. طيب, let us look at skill 32. Use the base form of the verb after modals. احنا عارفين ان البيس فورم اللي هو اللي بنقول عليه الانفينيتيف او المصدر, اللي هو الفعل اللي ما فيهوش اي حاجه, اللي هو بيبقى زي البريزنت, بس ما اقدرش اقول عليه present لان البريزنت بيتصرف, بحط معاه s for certain pronouns. الكلمات دي بقى بنقول عليها modals, وزي ما قلت لكم they do the work of an auxiliary, يعني بسأل بيهم أسئلة وبعمل بيهم نفي, وما دام هم عندي يبقى أنا ما عنديش an auxiliary helping verb. فهم they are helping verbs that have meaning, ليهم معنى, مش زي do مثلا ملهاش معنى, ولا be. After modals, اسمها بنسميها modals. After modals such as will, would, can, could, shall, should, may, might, must, the verb should be in the base form. يعني أقول the train will, مش leaving, will leave at 3. طيب, افرضوا إنها كانت the train will be. لو كانت the train will be فهتبقى will be leaving, لأن أنا عندي be قبل leave, فهتبقى will be leaving. طيب, the doctor may arrive soon. لا, may arrive. Students must taken 5 courses. Students must take. Verb forms after modals بيبقى modal plus the base form of the verb. طيب exercise 32. Each sentence contains a verb formed with a modal. Underline the verbs and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. طيب the shop owners might reduce prices. فين الفعل؟ might reduce. Might is a modal and reduce is the base form, so the sentence is correct. Number 2. The TV program will finishes يعني أنا ممكن أقول the TV program finishes at 10 لو ده هو السكيدجول بتاع البروجرام. The TV program finishes at 10 لكن لو عندي will هتبقى the TV program will finish at 10. Shall I call you up in the morning? Shall I call you up? Shall call. ما قلتش مثلا shall I calling you up. لا, after shall, which is a modal, the verb should be in the base form. وزي ما انتم شايفين shall is a modal بستعمله نفس استعمالات الauxiliary verbs الأفعال المساعدة إني بعمل بيه الاستفهام وبعمل بيه النيجاتيف النفي. The system of organizing the company can be developed. فين الفعل هنا عندي؟ can be. أنا عندي can فبقى عندي be base form. كان ممكن طبعا أقول the system of organizing the company is developed. ها؟ فبي كانت هتتصرف لكن أنا عندي can يبقى be تبقى in the base form. The blender اللي هو الخلاط. The blender may switches off when you put too much liquid. طيب the blender ممكن أقول switches off ده العادي بالنسبة له. The blender طبعا he و she و it بياخدوا S في الفعل. The blender switches off when you put too much liquid. لا ما دام أنا عندي may يبقى هقول the blender may switch off when you put too much liquid. طيب I've been giving you only 5 sentences of the exercises, but you are going to find the whole exercises in the key answer at the end of the unit or the lesson in your book. طيب for the next part of this lecture, we are going to talk about tenses. I want you to remember this. With have, we use have, يعني any form of have. With have or any form of have, we have the past participle. With be, it's either the past participle when we have a passive or the present participle when we have a verb. With modals, you always use, yes, we use the base form of the verb. Thank you very much, and we continue with part 2 of lecture 1. أهلا بيكم في الجزء الثاني من المحاضرة الأولى. هي متقسمة جزئين لأن يعني المواضيع بتاعة الجزء الأول كانت مرتبطة إلى حد ما والمواضيع دي مختلفة شوية. نشوف أول سلايد. بصوا by the end of this lecture the students should be able to recognize problems with the use of the verb. إيه المشاكل اللي عندي لما بكون بستعمل الأفعال؟ طيب أول حاجة using the past with the present, using have and had correctly, using the correct tense with time expressions, and using the correct tense with will and would. طيب problems with the use of the verb. بصوا be careful of certain problems when dealing with verb tenses in English. لازم ناخد بالنا من يعني a number of problems when we are dealing with verb tenses. طيب when to use past with the present using have and had correctly نفس الكلام اللي قلناه في objectives using the correct tense with time expressions and using the correct tense with will and would. طيب هنيجي يعني we are now at skill 33 that is using the past with the present. بصوا if we're using the past we are using the past. If we're using the present it's present. It's very rare نادرا it's very rare when we use the present with the past وهنشوف امتى. Do not switch from the past tense to the present tense. ما بقاش بستعمل حاجة في الماضي واروح نقلة كده للحاضر. When a sentence has both a past tense and a present tense it's often incorrect. غالبا بتكون غلط. يعني ما اقول he took my car when he needs it. طيب he took my car يعني خلاص انا حددت ان الزمن بتاع الجملة ده بقى في الماضي. He took my car when he needed it. ماضي. طيب this sentence is meaningless. ملهاش معنى. An action done in the past cannot be the result of an action in the present. The sentence can be corrected in other ways. يعني ممكن أقول زي ما قلت لكم he took my car when he needed it أو he takes my car when he needs it. طيب the first sentence has a logical meaning. The second sentence also has a logical meaning. It means that an action is habitual or repeated. يعني every time he needs my car he takes it. لكن الجملة الأولانية he needed my car and he took it. وممكن برضو يبقى repeated. It's also logical for a sentence in English to have both the past and the present tense. يعني مثلا لو قلت I know that he took my car yesterday. Here the meaning is logical. المعنى هنا منطقي. لأن I know this is something in the present. That he took my car yesterday and this is something in the past. طيب يبقى when we're talking about using the past with the present ناخد بالنا من الحاجات دي. A sentence with one verb in the present and one verb in the past is probably incorrect. Probably. Most of the time, it's an incorrect sentence. It's possible for a correct sentence to have both past and present. يعني ما أقول I know that he took my car. If you have past and present together, check the meaning. آخد بالي من المعنى to determine if the sentence is correct. I want you to remember something I used to tell you when you were in the first term, when we were studying together grammar 1. أنا كنت بقول لكم إن إحنا في كل الحاجات اللي أنتوا كنتوا مستصعبين حاجات فيها في grammar 1 إن you can do grammar correctly even if you do not know the meaning of words. But here you might think that tenses are alright, they are much easier than clauses and complex sentences and so on. But here you have to think about the meaning to have a correct sentence. And that is why we do that in term 2, not in term 1. طيب. We take exercise 33 now. Each sentence has at least one verb in the past and one in the present. في الجمل اللي جاية دي. Underline the verbs and decide if the sentences are correct or incorrect. يعني ما أقول I take him to the bank when he asks me to. طبعا الجملة دي صح. I take him to the bank present tense when he asks me to. لما بيطلب مني ذلك. It's something which is repeated in the present. Every time he asks me. الاتنين في الحاضر. طيب في present simple. I know that you were upset. طيب هنا أنا عندي I know, and this is something that belongs to the present, that you were upset إنك كنت زعلان امبارح ولا الأسبوع اللي فات. I know is present and this is logical. وخدوا بالكم معظم الجمل دي بتبقى حاجات that have to do with understanding and knowing and believing. حاجات ليها دعوة بالإدراك العقلي. طيب number 3. When I was a child I always have a toothache. لا, I always had a toothache. كانت بتتكرر برضو لكن برضو في الماضي. last term that's past tense. I attend ولا I attended. I attended 7 courses. حضرت 7 مواد but sit 5 exams. طيب but sat 5 exams برضو ماضي. He wakes up early every morning because he went to work early. أنا بتكلم يعني I'm talking about something which is habitual in the present. He wakes up early every morning because he برضه هتبقى habitual repeated because he goes to work early. طيب now this is skill 34. Use have and had correctly. شوفوا بقى. Have and had are used with the present perfect and with the past perfect. لو بستعمل had plus the past participle يبقى this is, لو بستعمل have plus past participle يبقى this is present perfect tense اللي هو ممكن تكون حاجة ابتدت من الماضي ولسه مستمرة دلوقتي أو حاجة ابتدت وانتهت في الماضي لكن it is still true. يعني ما أقول مثلا I have read this book. أنا خلاص خلصت قراية الكتاب لكن بستعمل present perfect because it is true for the present. طيب have is used with the present perfect which is have plus past participle and had is used with the past perfect which is had plus past participle. These two tenses are sometimes confused. ساعات بنتلخبط فيهم and you should know how they are used. امتى وازاي بنستعملهم. The present perfect اللي هو have يعني any form of have يعني have أو has. The present perfect is used to refer to a period from the past until the present. يعني ما أقول I have lived in Cairo for 20 years يعني بقالي 20 سنة عايشة هنا في القاهرة. This sentence means that I started living in Cairo 20 years ago and that I am still living there. It's not correct to use the present perfect for a sentence that refers to the past only. لو أنا بتكلم على الماضي فقط ما ينفعش إن أنا أستعمل ال present perfect. يعني إذا في حاجة في الجملة عندي referring to a point in the past يعني مثلا on January the 25th يبقى I cannot use the present perfect. If I have something that refers to the past I should use the simple past tense. طيب يعني ما اقدرش اقول a revolution has started on January the 25th. لا, a revolution started on January the 25th. Every time I went abroad برضو every time I went abroad دي حاجات كلها في الماضي. I have missed Egypt. لا, برضو I missed Egypt. Both sentences refer to a certain time in the past, and the verb indicates a period of time from the past until the present. This is not logical. When a certain time is referred to in the past, the verb should be in the past tense and not in the present perfect, which refers to both past and present time. The past perfect اللي هو had plus past participle refers to a period of time that started in the past and ended in the past before something else happened also in the past. يعني ايه؟ ودي حاجة انتوا بتلخبطوا فيها. يعني دايما بتقولوا او اول ما الناس بتبتدي تتعلم انجليزي وتتعلم الازمنة بيقولوا ايه؟ بيقولوا ان الباست بيرفكت عشان الحاجات القديمة والباست simple عشان الحاجات الماضي بس الجديدة. طيب يعني أنا لو بتكلم if I'm talking about the pharaohs أقول the pharaohs had built the pyramids. لا the pharaohs built the pyramids. أنا أقول إمتى the pharaohs had built the pyramids. خدوا بالكم من الجملة دي before they built ماضي بسيط بقى the sphinx. كانوا بنوا الأهرامات قبل ما يبنوا أبو الهول. طيب يعني أنا بستعمل past perfect لما يكون عندي حدثين في الماضي واحد منهم أقدم من التاني، اللي أقدم هو اللي يبقى في past perfect، اللي أجدد يعني تاني واحد يحصل اللي حصل بعديه هو اللي يبقى في past simple. يعني زي الجملة دي I had lived in Alexandria for 10 years when I moved to Cairo. إيه الفعل اللي كان تم خلاص؟ had lived in Alexandria for 10 years. عشت في اسكندرية 10 سنين when I moved لما نقلت للقاهرة. Because the past perfect begins and ends in the past, it's generally not correct in the same sentence with the present perfect. يعني ما اقولش I had finished work when they come to visit. لا هما حدثين في الماضي، واحد قديم اللي هو ان انا خلصت شغلي وبعدين هما جم يزوروني. خلصت شغلي في الاول ده اللي اقدم I had finished when they came not come. Both actions happened in the past and the second verb should be came. طيب تعالوا نشوف exercise 34. برضو هنشوف إذا الجمل دي صح ولا غلط. وعندنا برضو مشروحة كمان في الكتاب the answer key to the whole exercise. I'm only taking 5. طيب I have always liked the students who are in my class. I have always liked the students بتكلم على حاجة من بتشير للماضي والحاضر فهستعمل ايه present perfect. I have always liked the students who are in my class اللي بيبقوا عندي في الكلاس. يعني صح الجملة دي. Because their project المشروع بتاعهم had been rejected past perfect they are depressed. ايه رأيكم في الجملة دي؟ يعني الجملة دي أنا بقول they are depressed. It's true that they are depressed now. زعلانين هم لسه زعلانين لكن برضو لما هقول because their project had been rejected they were depressed ده ما يمنعش إن هم زعلانين دلوقتي. لكن I'm talking here about verb agreement، إن الفعلين لازم يبقوا في الماضي. واحد في الماضي البيرفكت تام، والتاني بعده بشوية كان تاني واحد يحصل إن هما زعلوا. طيب she has registered for the course before the term started. she has registered، ده أنا عندي الجملة هنا في الماضي، أنا بقول before the term started، يبقى الحاجة يعني التقديم ده كان أسبق على إن الترم يبتدي. يبقى أنا عايزة حاجة أقدم من started اللي هي she had registered for the course. طيب when they had bought the house they signed for the insurance. they signed for the insurance يعني مضوا أو عملوا تأمين. طيب الجملة دي إيه؟ when they had bought the house هم اشتروا البيت الأول، ده الفعل الأول had bought. they signed for the insurance وبعد كده عملوا التأمين. يبقى this is correct. الفعل الأقدم هو اللي في past perfect. طيب the plane had taken off when I arrived at the airport. طيب أنا بتكلم في الماضي أهو، يبقى إزاي أقول when I arrived؟ the plane had taken off، الطيارة كانت طلعت خلاص. when I past simple arrived at the airport. Both verbs are in the past. One, verb number one, action number one, past perfect, and then action number two, which follows, is in the past simple. طيب نشوف skill number 35. Use the correct tense with time expression. يعني ايه time expression؟ أي expression that tells me about the time، اللي هي الحاجات اللي مكتوبة بالأحمر دي. A time expression in a sentence often indicates what tense to use. دايما التايم expression بيقول لي ايه الزمن اللي استعمله. They moved to Cairo in 1980. 1980 دي is what is past tense، فهستعمل past tense. طيب they had left Alexandria by 1980. by 1980 يعني على ما وصلنا 1980، يبقى الحاجة اللي قبليه تبقى ايه؟ past perfect had left. They have lived in Cairo since 1980. since 1980 كلمة since يعني زي ما بنقول بالعربي منذ، يعني منذ دي يعني something in the past until now. طيب if something is true of the past and the present يبقى هستعمل the present perfect. They have lived in Cairo since 1980. عندي هنا last month. I am specifying a certain point in the past. فهقول we started the term last month. ما ينفعش أقول we had started the term last month. لا، خدوا بالكم إن أي تعبير أو أي كلمة بتشير للماضي لنقطة معينة في الماضي يبقى لازم أستعمل ال past simple. I changed my job 2 years ago. I have worked very hard lately. كلمة lately معناها إيه؟ lately في الفترة الأخيرة. يعني إيه الفترة الأخيرة دي؟ زمنها قد إيه؟ الفترة الأخيرة يعني مثلا من شهرين لغاية دلوقتي، which is sometime past مش بعيد قوي until now، يبقى صح إني أستعمل ال present perfect. نشوف exercise 35. Each sentence contains a time expression. هشوف الجمل مع التايم expressions دي صح ولا غلط. She knocked incessantly. incessantly يعني without stopping. She knocked incessantly at the door last night. last night, this is a time in the past, يبقى it's correct to use past simple. She knocked. This is a correct sentence. They had finished inviting everyone last month. Last month. And I have only one action, one verb. يبقى ليه استعمل ومفيش حاجة تيجي بعده علشان استعملها في الباست tense. يبقى هقول they finished inviting everyone last month. World War I الحرب العالمية الأولى has ended in 1919. ازاي ده بقى؟ It's one action and past action. يبقى ازاي استعمل has ended؟ Ended. Since the new law was passed يعني من أول القانون ده ما اتفرض it has been illegal to build on cultivated land. أنا بتكلم على إيه؟ على حاجة من وقت ماضي لغاية دلوقتي. يبقى صح إني أستعمل ال present perfect. It has been illegal to build on cultivated land من غير القانوني البناء على أرض مزروعة. The money was deposited 2 days ago. طيب الجملة دي صح. The money was deposited, that's past tense, 2 days ago لأن عندي 2 days ago a certain time in the past. طيب skill 36. Use the correct tense with will and would. طيب انتوا عارفين إن would is the past tense of will. It's very common in English to use the simple present with will. لو أنا بقول will يبقى لازم استعمل simple present. يعني أقول مثلا I know that they will come soon. It is certain that demonstrations will continue. It's also common to use the simple past with would. لو أنا هقول would يبقى لازم استعمل ال past simple. يعني أقول إيه؟ I knew that they would come. I knew that they would come. دي جملة ماضي. I knew. مادام هي ماضي يبقى ما استعملش will استعمل would. وزي ما انتوا شايفين will and would بستعمل معاهم the base form of the verb اللي هو زي ما بتقولوا infinitive المصدر. ما بقولش إذا كانت he مثلا مش هقول I knew that he would come. لا. will and would حاجة اسمها models هنعرف عنها بعدين بشوية. دول بيجي الفعل بعدهم في المصدر زي verb to be وزي do وزي كده. طيب it was certain that demonstrations مادام قلت it was certain مش it is certain يبقى أقول would. It was certain that demonstrations would continue هتستمر. معلش الجمل دي قديمة شوية. طيب ناخد بالنا من ايه بقى؟ avoid the combination اني اربط التركيبة دي المزج ده. avoid the combination of the past with will and the combination of the present with would because they are illogical. ملهمش معنى غير منطقيين. Note that there is a different type of would which is used to make polite requests. ساعات أنا بستعمل would عشان أطلب شيء بأدب أو بذوق. يعني أقول مثلا would you please pass the salt. would you please pass the salt. أنا مش هنا بستعملها علشان أتكلم على زمن. ده just to make a polite request طلب مهذب. This type of would is often used with the present tense. ما دام أنا بطلب حاجة الطلب ده بيبقى عادة في الحاضر. يعني ما أقول مثلا I would like to know if I can have my annual leave in August. ده طبعا تهذبا أحسن من إني أقول I like to know if I can have my annual leave أجازتي السنوية in August هقول I would like to know. This is much more polite. طيب نشوف exercise 36. Each of the following sentences contains will or would. نشوف الجمل دي صح ولا غلط وبقية الأكسرسايز إجابتها عندكم في الكتاب. I knew that he will be willing to help. لا أنا عندي I knew that he would be willing to help. خدوا بالكم إن التنس does not always mean the time. التنس مش معناه دايما الزمن. يعني ما أقول I knew that he would be willing to help أنا ممكن أتكلم على حاجة هتحصل لسه في المستقبل. I knew that he would be willing to help. ممكن يعني the time has not yet come when we need his help. لكن احنا بنتكلم على يعني tenses together. I knew that he would be willing to help, not will be willing to help. I think that's present, that he will leave tomorrow. This is correct. They did not say when they did not يبقى when they would come. برضو ممكن يكونوا لسه مش جايين إلا كمان 3 شهور لكن يعني بستعمل would علشان did. I doubt that the person I will vote for would make لا معلش هي would make it يعني يكسب. طيب I doubt that the person I will vote for اللي رايحة أنتخبه في مجلس النواب ولا whatever would make it. طيب I doubt ده أقول عليه إيه؟ أولا دي present that the person I will vote for would make it ولا will make it? Will make it. I think that I will go if I can afford it. This is correct, and that ends our first lecture of grammar 2. Thank you very much, and we meet again for the next lecture, lecture 2.